Just can't get into a rhythm. Defensively, shout out to Raven Johnson. If we won this game, this would have been the Raven Johnson game. Without Raven Johnson, this is a disastrous game.
That was a prominent voice in the sports world detailing what we all saw with our own eyes last night. A complete and utter disaster. Make no mistake about it, Stephanie White, the head coach of the Indiana Fever, put on an absolute clinic in how to sabotage a generational superstar. She left Caitlin Clark stranded on an island all night long against the Golden State Valkyrie. It was egregious, it was painful, and it was entirely by design. We are looking at a 90-88 loss that never should have happened. Instead of putting the ball in the hands of the most lethal playmaker on the planet, Stephanie White forced Caitlin Clark to play off-ball for nearly the entire game. No screens, no pick and rolls, just isolation and chaos. It is the single worst coaching performance we have seen in May 2026. And today, we are exposing exactly how this coaching staff failed their franchise player.
Atrocious. The chicken with the head cut off offense looks bad. Stephanie White had Caitlin Clark off ball more tonight than anything we've seen so far this season. Not only off ball, but Caitlin Clark was left on an island all by herself all night long. People would come within 5 feet of Caitlin Clark and jab step. I saw Sophie Cunningham run up to Caitlin Clark 5 feet away, jab step, jump towards her like she's about to jump in and do double dutch, and then fade off to the three-point line.
Think about what we just heard. 3 actual pick and rolls the entire night. For a generational talent who revolutionized college basketball running the pick and roll at Iowa, Stephanie White gives her 3. That is not just bad coaching. That is basketball malpractice. Instead, you have teammates running up to Clark, jab-stepping like they are playing double dutch, and then fading away to the three-point line. It is a chicken with its head cut off offense, and it is ruining the season. Caitlin Clark is out there taking a beating. Her back is hurting from carrying the weight of this franchise, and her own coach won't even draw up a simple screen to get her open. But that's not even the worst part. Watch what happens next when we look at the high-priced contracts on this roster, who completely vanished when Clark needed them most.
Our larger contracts on this team today, I would say underperformed. They didn't perform. Now, I already gave in my Kelsey Mitchell defense badge. I'm no longer on the Kelsey Mitchell defense train. But man, all the glaring deficiencies in Kelsey Mitchell's game reared its ugly head tonight, something fierce. Aaliyah Boston, inability, dude, you are 6'5". You got some weight to you. Throw it around and get post position. The reason why so many of them are offensive fouls, and I know we want to blame the referees and call flopping, the reason why a lot of these are offensive fouls.
Let that sink in. The largest contracts on this Indiana Fever roster are completely underperforming. While a rookie like Raven Johnson has to step up and save this team from a 30-point blowout, Kelsey Mitchell looked completely lost out there, exposing every single defensive deficiency in her game. And Aaliyah Boston, you are 6'5". You have the size, you have the weight, but the footwork is non-existent. Instead of establishing deep position in the post, Boston is picking up offensive fouls and looking completely lazy down low. They want to blame the referees, they want to cry about flopping, but the truth is simple, it is bad footwork and lazy execution. And while the veterans sleepwalk through the game, Caitlin Clark is being swarmed by 3 defenders with absolutely zero help from her bench.
Cece, bad shooting day. There's no defense in that. Were there a lot of catch and shoot opportunities? No. Were there a lot of off-ball screens set for her to get open? No. But on a day like today, I was screaming to myself and screaming to the shout out to everybody in the venue. We were all talking. Days like today, they're putting you on the free throw line. You get past your defenders pretty easily. Would have liked to see you take the ball to the post more. Just if you got to shoot 12, 14, 15 free throws, you got to shoot 15 free throws. Tonight would have been a perfect game for that. But I'm not even more concerned about the shooting. I was more frustrated with the turning the ball over today. 3 of them instantly come to my mind. right? We had the back-to-back turnovers in the fourth quarter, and then I believe in the third quarter, there was the long pass to Raven Johnson. Way short. Those are the 3 turnovers that came to mind. I was more.
Now, let's be fair about one thing. Caitlin Clark had a rough shooting night. She went 3 for 12 from the field and turned the ball over 5 times. There is no defense for the turnovers. But ask yourself this: why is she turning the ball over? Because she is forced to force the action. Where were the catch-and-shoot opportunities? 0. Where were the off-ball screens set by her teammates? 0. When your coach refuses to run an offense, you are forced to make miracle passes over the top. If the three-point shot isn't falling, a real coach tells their star to attack the rim, get to the free throw line, and shoot 15 free throws. But Stephanie White didn't do that. She stood on the sideline with her hands in her pockets, watching the offense collapse, and what comes next is the moment that broke this whole thing wide open.
We're going to get into Stephanie White tomorrow because there's just not enough time. It's almost 1 o'clock. Stephanie White, you're just... What you drew up at the end of the game was back-to-back disasters. And the second play, not as much of a disaster. Great play drawn up by Austin Kelly. Just the wrong player at 1-2. Let's get into it, shall we? Like the video, hype the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and subscribe.
This is the smoking gun right here. The Indiana Fever lose 90-88 against an expansion team in a game they had won 3 times over. And the final 2 plays drawn up by Stephanie White out of the timeout were back-to-back disasters. Make no mistake about it. Drawing up plays that deliberately take the ball out of Caitlin Clark's hands in a one-possession game is a public execution of her star player's role. It felt insulting as a fan to watch this live. It felt like the coaching staff was actively letting the Golden State Valkyrie win the basketball game. There is a theory floating around the league right now that Stephanie White did this intentionally, that she wanted to prove a point that if the team wins, it is because of Aaliyah Boston, and if they lose, it is because of Caitlin Clark. It looked all the way bad, and the tape does not lie.
Positives: Caitlin Clark, second fastest player in the WNBA or NBA to reach 1,000 points, 500 assists. Only Damon Stoudemire is faster. Caitlin Clark becomes the fastest player in WNBA history to reach 500 career assists. But my instant reaction, this was a brutal game. We got everything we wanted, we got nothing we wanted, and everything we didn't ask for. This is why we say Caitlin Clark off ball doesn't work, because we don't have a coach that can make plays to get her open. Not even one screen. Not even one screen. Like, it's bad. It was just bad news bears tonight, man. It was just bad news bear. Mick, they're literally standing around watching Caitlin while she's being swarmed. What the hell is going on here? The whole team's lazy. The team's lazy. The team is lazy.
The irony of this entire disaster is that even on a terrible night, Caitlin Clark still made history. She became the fastest player in WNBA history to reach 500 career assists, and the second fastest in basketball history behind only Damon Stoudemire to hit 1,500 total assists. The greatness is there, but the supporting cast is completely checked out. Look at the footage. They are literally standing around, hands on hips, watching Caitlin Clark get swarmed by 3 white jerseys. The whole team looks lazy. Lexi Hull, Monique Billings, Aaliyah Boston. If the ball isn't in their hands, or if the play isn't explicitly drawn up for them, they stop moving. It is criminal coaching, and it is the reason why this team will never win a championship until Stephanie White is fired.
Stephanie White's coaching is criminal. 1 possession game, 2 plays in a row, AB in the post equals fail. She will never get it until she's fired. Let's take a look. Okay, here we are, 90-88. In my mind, it's a 2-point game. Do you know what I'm saying? What I would love? Give it to Kelsey Mitchell. She turns around and gives it right back to Caitlin Clark, and Caitlin Clark is coming downhill with a head full of steam, trying to make something happen. Do you think that's what we got?
Let's break down the final execution, because this is where the incompetence really shines. It is a 2-point game with 16 seconds left on the clock. What does any rational basketball mind want to see? You want Kelsey Mitchell to inbound the ball, immediately give it right back to Caitlin Clark, and let your superstar come downhill with a head full of steam. But no, that is not what we got. Instead, Kelsey Mitchell turns her back, dribbles the ball up the floor into a trap, while Aaliyah Boston sets a lazy, uninspired screen that does absolutely nothing to free up Clark. They wasted 10 seconds doing absolutely nothing, because the real story isn't just what happened tonight. It's what this means for everything coming next.
But bench, they're guarding her 94 feet. I don't give a rat's behind if they're guarding her 94 feet or 104 feet. It means nada to me. Turn around and give it back to her. You got 16 seconds to make something happen. But no, Kelsey's gonna turn and dribble it up. Screen for AB. AB sets a lazy screen. Back to Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark gives it to AB. What are we working on in the offseason? Do we not have a quick turn and up? Or do we need to pound and 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 then go up with it?
They will tell you that Golden State was guarding Clark 94 feet up the floor. I don't care if they are guarding her 104 feet up the floor. You give the ball to your franchise player and let her make a play. Instead, we watch a possession where they pound and pound and pound the basketball into the hardwood for 12 seconds before dumping it into the post. It is the same repetitive, predictable garbage every single night. If Caitlin Clark doesn't go completely superhero mode, this team cannot score 80 points. They beat the Seattle Storm because Clark went Super Saiyan. They won the last Valkyrie game because she carried them on her back. The moment she has an off night and needs her coach to design a clean look, the entire system collapses into Brick City.
And now here we go. This is the end play right here. Kelsey Mitchell, no. Caitlin Clark. Oh, Caitlin Clark was wide open over here. It's a very identical play to what we ran last time that got Caitlin Clark a wide open three to send it to overtime. But instead, we give it to Aaliyah Boston because the hub's in. Not a bad play, actually. Aaliyah Boston got a clean look. Brick City. I don't even know what to tell you. Again, it was a brutal game. It was brutal. He scored 14 points in the first quarter. It was bad. Kelsey Mitchell, 5 for 13, 3 assists, 5 personal fouls. Kelsey Mitchell couldn't help herself fouling today. Caitlin Clark, 3 for 12, 2 for 6 from 3, 6 assists.
Look at the final stat line from last night, and it tells you the whole story. Kelsey Mitchell goes 5 for 13 from the field with 5 personal fouls. Aaliyah Boston goes 4 for 11 for 13 points. Meanwhile, Monique Billings, who is making a massive $850,000 this season, was an absolute waste of space on the floor, contributing next to nothing. The only bright spot was Raven Johnson, who put up 16 points on 7 of 10 shooting in her best game as a professional athlete. And it was completely wasted, spoiled by a coaching staff that refuses to run a modern basketball offense. This isn't the first time the basketball establishment has tried to neutralize a generational talent by forcing them into an outdated system, and it is a pattern our audience knows all too well.
Tonight, Monique Billings is a waste of $850,000. Monique Billings is a waste of $850,000. Lexi Hull, 5 points, 6 boards. AB, 13 points, 6 rebounds. 4 for 11. Sophie Cunningham, 11 points. 2 rebounds, 2 steals. +1. Raven Johnson, 16 points for Raven Johnson, 7 for 10 from the field, 2 for 3 from the three-point line. Her best game as a pro. Wasted, spoiled.
This situation mirrors exactly what we saw back in 1997 with Cynthia Cooper. And again in 2008 when the old guard tried to minimize Candace Parker during her rookie season. The establishment always closes ranks when a player comes in and completely changes the financial and cultural landscape of the sport. The veterans get jealous, the coaches try to prove they are bigger than the stars, and the game suffers. Let's look at this disaster from 4 specific angles. First, the front office angle. Turning your superstar into an off-ball bystander is actively killing ticket sales and television ratings. Second, the locker room angle. Paying players like Monique Billings nearly $1 million to look lazy on the floor is creating massive resentment. Third, the fan angle. People are staying up until 1 o'clock in the morning to watch greatness, not Stephanie White's ego. And fourth, the league angle. If the Fever ruined Caitlin Clark's sophomore season, the entire WNBA economic boom deflates. And here's the one thing nobody is talking about.
If Caitlin Clark's not going superhero mode, this is what's going to be happening. If Caitlin Clark is going Super Saiyan to carry this team, games like this are going to happen. The Washington Mystics went into overtime because she went Super Saiyan. We beat down the Seattle Storm because she went Super Saiyan. We won last Valkyrie game because she went Super Saiyan. She doesn't go Super Saiyan tonight. Nobody else steps up. And we get the result that we got. We'll get into fan reactions tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like the video, have the video, and subscribe to the channel.
When a head coach tells the media through her actions that her star player isn't the one running the show, the rest of the roster hears it loud and clear. Stephanie White's refusal to protect Caitlin Clark with basic screens and modern play calling is sending a green light to opponents to swarm, hold, and batter her across 94 feet of hardwood. It is a dangerous game to play with a franchise savior. Now, I want to hear from you. The fans saw what the mainstream media is trying to cover up. Was last night's disaster a case of absolute coaching incompetence by Stephanie White? Or is there a deliberate effort inside that organization to minimize Caitlin Clark's impact on the floor? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. Hit that like video button, hype the video, and subscribe to the channel. We will be tracking this coaching crisis all week long. Take it easy.